Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Video Store Clerks Podcast.
Welcome to the store.
Hello, hello, hello.
I need
Where
your
did
clothes,
Chuck go?
your boots, and your motorcycle.
There he be, there he be. There's
There's
the
me.
Chuckaroo. There's the Whitman. The guys fucking went into the future.
We went somewhere.
Terminator night. They
I
went
thought
into the
Skynet's already
future.
hit it.
What's that?
Skynet's already hit us.
No doubt.
Fucking
They did it earlier
bullshit.
today, too, because the fucking self-checkout at Dollar General wasn't working. But anyway, today is Tuesday, 10 p.m. Tonight is Terminator night, August 29th. Where is Mike?
I don't know. I just got this in my inbox, so let's see what it
Where's
is.
Mike.
The date is August 29th, 2023. I am a Terminator looking for the video store clerks. My mission is to terminate on sight. Nothing can stop me.
Is that my fucking house?
You are terminated!
Oh, shit! We're fucking dead.
Pause. Well, shit.
Again, we are your video store clerks. I'm Chad Man.
I'm the Dave 800, battle damaged.
And I am the Mike 10 million.
I'm the nasty.
I'm Whitman.
And tonight we welcome you once again to episode 79 of the Video Store Clerks, in which we will be talking about the sci-fi, horror, action classic, The Terminator, that defied all expectations when it was released in Halloween 1984, grossing $78 million with a budget of $6 million. Credited with launching James Cameron's outstanding film career and cementing Arnold Schwarzenegger as a leading man. The film's success led to a franchise consisting of several sequels that we will not be talking about, a television series that we will not be talking about, comic books, novels, video games, and in 2008, The Terminator was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry. That's right, it's Terminator night right here on the Video Store Clerks Podcast, but we will start the program, as we always do, with the news!
Good. People are worried. Have you spoken to any locals?
Look around. Does there look like there's any locals out here? Everything is closed. Everyone is inside. The only reason I'm outside is to tell people not to come outside. What am I doing with my life?
Well, you sure are brave, Ryan. Any word on what we can expect overnight?
Yeah, more of this.
Fucking snow.
That was a good one.
Affirmative.
We'll start with box office. Number one, Barbie once again climbed to the number one spot, with Blue Beetle coming at number 2, and Gran Turismo came in at number 3. Filling it out, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem number 4, Oppenheimer dropped all the way to number 5, Strays at 6, The Meg 2 at 7, some movie called Retribution at 8, Haunted Mansion at 9, and poor Mission Impossible all the way to number 10.
Womp womp.
Barbie's not really for me, but congratulations, I guess.
Negative.
So last week was a rough week, especially in the world of pro wrestling. As Wednesday, legendary the Funkster, Terry Funk, passed away at 89. He wasn't doing well for a while from what people were saying, but that's a big loss to the world of pro wrestling. And then Thursday, I think it was around 6 or 6:30 in the evening, Triple H put out that tweet that Bray Wyatt passed away. 36, I believe he was.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, legendary game show host Bob Barker passed away at 99 years old.
That's
Man,
great.
I can't imagine living that long.
I thought he was already dead.
I wouldn't want to.
I mean, who would want to? But
I would.
still. In other news, remakes. We haven't done this one in a while. Remember Highlander? Of course you do. Well, guess what? It's getting a remake.
Oh no, there's no need.
This one, I don't know. The director of the John Wick movies will be helming it with Henry Cavill scheduled to star. So I don't know. Maybe, probably. Not.
There's hope for it.
Yeah, it's at least hopeful then. I mean, I think Cavill does all right. I think the director, I think the Wick movies are pretty entertaining. So but the first Highlander is so good. Yeah.
So there's some maybe potential there.
Yeah.
In other news, there will be a sequel to Heat, the Robert De Niro film.
What?
Heat 2 will be a prequel directed by Michael Mann and starring, what's his name? Adam Driver. So that might explain why he dropped out of the Fantastic Four movie to go do this.
Man, that's prequel. He's like one of the best gangster flicks ever.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, but like a prequel. All right, I didn't know that was happening. That's cool.
I didn't do that ever be a thing. Could be cool. Yeah.
In other news, Kevin Hart found himself in a wheelchair. It looks like he will be that way for the next couple weeks as he tried to do a 40-yard dash with a former NFL player, and it did not work out well for him at being 44 years old. He tore his abductors and who knows what else, and he is wheelchair bound for at least a couple of weeks, but he's fine.
Wow.
He posted it on his Instagram, and he was kind of joking about it. When you hit 40, respect that age, or that age will make you respect it, is pretty much what he said.
Yeah, you can't be competing with pro athletes. No. And just like, nah.
And finally, yes, the strike is still going on, and the latest victim as far as delay goes is the FX Alien TV series that I don't think we're ever going to get. They've been talking about this for years and years and years, but it was filming, and filming has halted due to the strike.
And it's not on one of the top lists. Like, we just won't ever see it.
Probably not. I don't know.
Maybe there's a reason. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's okay.
But it could be cool, though.
I mean, it could be cool, but if it
know.
doesn't ever happen, then it wasn't meant to be a thing.
I agree.
Affirmative.
I think it's a lot like these Terminator movies. They just should have left it the fuck alone.
Agreed.
But we'll get there. But we'll start. We might get to the second one. I don't know. We'll see how long Chuck Nasty's battery holds up and what's going
keep
on.
pointing it out on the air, dude.
My CPU is a learning computer. A neural net processor. Was it 1997 it happened? Was it August 29th, 1997?
Yes.
Okay.
Affirmative.
Thank you. Might have to keep you around.
Okay.
Well, yes, the Terminator, what was expected to be just another B action flick, kind of came out of nowhere and took over the box office. It came out in late October. It was around Halloween, 1984 it came out. What would that be today? $12 million maybe?
Maybe.
The budget, maybe. Okay. But even still, it's not a $300 million movie, people. And look what fucking came out of that.
Yeah.
I always thought of the first one as more of a horror film. I think it is a horror film. I would say
It's sci-fi horror. Yeah,
The
definitely.
first one,
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight up horror. The way the pacing of it, just the relentlessness of the T-800, just all of it's straight up horror to me. Other than, I mean, it's a robot from the future, or whatever, but it's not shot like a sci-fi film. It's shot like a horror film.
Yeah, sci-fi horror. Splash.
Yeah, it's dark. It's moody. There's a lot of those really tight shots. There's a lot of the tension building sequences and all this. It's shot just like a horror movie. And the Terminator kind of reminds you a little bit of Michael Myers from Halloween, a little bit. Just the relentless, overpowered villain that you have no idea how you're going to stop it.
He's a cybernetic organism.
On PCP. Oh yes, and Lance Hendrickson even shows up in this movie, and he's the least Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah,
he's not really Lance in this movie. It's probably the most lighthearted role I think he maybe ever had. But still, it's fucking Lance Hendrickson. So
they didn't do him justice.
Poor guy. What? Huh? Like a fucking cat.
Skynet has become self-aware. We are all fucked.
Like, I remember James Cameron put out a tweet not too long ago. He's like, I tried to warn you because of the whole thing with AI and all this. And he was like, I warned you motherfuckers back in 1984. Don't come crying to me.
We all thought it was cool until it became reality.
Yes.
That's what's crazy. It's like these movies were so like out of the realm of possibility. Now, going back and watching it, it makes it that much more scary.
It's crazy how many of the movies from the 80s that talked about the future had stuff come true in the future in real life.
Except the damn hoverboard. I'm still pissed about that.
We're waiting for that. And the flying Jetsons cars. Make it happen, Elon.
Yeah. Sure. I think past like 2012, that's all you kind of like hear all the time is like, where's our flying cars?
Well, it's one of the few things that hasn't come to fruition.
True.
I mean? It's like we have all this AI stuff. We have robots. We have all these different things.
Yeah.
We don't have our flying cars yet, man. That's what we're missing,
Hello, Richard.
Richard, what's happening?
Hello, Richard. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the shit show, folks. It's our funniest episode yet.
Oh, it's always fun. I miss you guys.
Funniest is what I meant to say.
What is fun? I do not know human emotion. I am a machine.
I need a vacation. Hasta la vista, baby.
Not yet.
Fucking stupid smile he tries to do. But still, he towed that line, like, especially the second one. He didn't make the Terminator goofy. He was just trying to learn.
Yeah.
And then I think the third one crossed that line. But again, we're going to pretend like those movies don't exist.
We're not going there.
We're not going there.
Yeah, I don't even remember those ones. I don't even think I've seen each one of them maybe once.
I have erased it from my database.
Yes.
Yeah, the first two were like so well written. They're just like good movies. Not just a sci-fi action movie. It's just a good movie.
I think the second one is a whole different animal as far as like, it gets out of the horror range, even though that same thing is there with the T-1000, but like it just has more action. It's more, I don't know, it just gets out of the realm of horror to where it broadens the audience.
Froze up. Yeah, it's a lot more emotional. Like you're a lot more invested in the characters by that point.
There's a connection built.
And action.
God damn it.
There's a connection built between John and the machine.
Are we frozen right now? What's going on here?
Not anymore. You were a minute ago.
You're a little bit.
I was feeling that was what was happening. Damn it. Sorry, Whitman.
Damn Skynet again.
Skynet.
And
Yeah,
fuck this
that's
episode.
Show.
They are trying to stop us.
They don't want the people to know.
And so this whole thing happened. James Cameron, who will always be on my Mount Rushmore of directors, because you can't deny the success, the creativity, this and that.
True.
Anyway, he had such a horrible experience on that Piranha movie. He decided, fuck it, I'm doing shit my way, by myself for now on. And that's what he did. And there's a lot of stories about James Cameron being a fucking tyrant on the set, but he knows what he wants.
And look at what he made. I mean,
Yeah. Even the Avatar movies, which I have not seen, but $1 billion Club.
right. There's some of the ones that I'm not on board with necessarily of his, but he's always been a favorite of mine. I mean, this movie, I liked The Abyss when I was young. I thought that was an awesome movie. And then like Aliens, the second one.
Yeah.
You're right. And then he turned that into like an action movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Same ordeal.
he just does good stuff, man.
Titanic. Spoiler alert. The boat sinks.
So
yeah.
You don't say.
And it's like with the first Terminator, the technology just wasn't all the way there yet.
Yeah.
But by the time the second one came, and after he kind of had a practice run through the Abyss, it's like it was a whole nother world opened up.
Yeah.
And that's how you could judge like a director. Like, do they change the landscape of making movies? And James Cameron, I believe, did that.
Yeah.
Even with the first one.
Yeah, he broke a lot of rules with the first one too, because he like fucking didn't have permission to shoot in some parts of the movie, and they just heard fucking shooting random shit, so they had to like lie to the cops when they came and shit.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I like the terms villain to hero, hero to villain.
It's the dynamic. It's like when you see the Terminator show up in the second one, you're like, is he there to kill? Is he back? Is it the same guy? Is it the same machine or something similar? Or is it something completely different? And we find out it's a completely different robot, a different machine. He's actually there to protect John Connor.
So quite a twist for the first one to the second one. But it worked, man. It worked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of time had gone by between the first and the second one. The second one didn't come out till 1991, almost 10 years later. And by that point, Arnold was, my God. He ruled the world by that point.
Yeah.
Still does. That man's a universal treasure, and we must protect him at all costs.
He knows it.
He is the John Connor.
The Governor.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, even in the first one though, like he is supposed to be Reese, and then as soon as Cameron seen him, they were like, "Nah, he's gonna be fucking the bad guy." And then he wanted to be the bad guy too, so he was like, "I am the Terminator," and they're like, "All right."
And Arnold's buddy Franco Columbo even shows up in the first one for a second.
Yes,
as another Terminator.
Yes, he's the other Terminator that shows up in the future and attacks the people that are left over, the survivors, if you will.
Well, then they had the one punker dude that was in Cobra, like that. He used to be a lot of Arnold stand-ins and shit.
Yeah, can't remember what his name is.
He's another one that you can't remember his name. Like he's always a villain in all these movies. He was.
I meant to look it up beforehand, so I didn't look like a dick. But
I saw an interview with that guy like a few years ago. And he looks horrible. Have you seen this dude like crazy times? I mean, like he just I don't know. There's something about his face that just is terrifying.
I haven't seen him recently.
You want to take his face off?
Wasn't he the villain in The Mask?
No.
Eric Stoltz movie?
Huh?
That was Cher.
Cher.
Easily confused.
It happens. What? And of course, the other punker was the great Bill Paxton. Even shows up in this movie. A very young Bill Paxton. in a great little part. He's always best when he does like little parts like that because he just lets it all hang out, if you will.
I think whenever the Terminator showed up, he was letting it all hang out a little, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we do get the Arnold butt shots, and I think all these movies.
I want a search. Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson. That's it.
How's that so fucking hard to remember?
I don't know. It's an easy name to remember. It's not like it's anything complicated. But it's just one of those things. He's just another one of those bad guys that shows up. Brian something or other.
Thompson.
I'm
looking for Thompson.
But no, and I also saw that Tech Noir, that bar they were in. They actually built that from the ground up because it was cheaper to do that than it was to go film in a real bar.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And the glass window that Arnold punched out was a real window in a real car that luckily belonged to the production team.
Nice.
But the whole thing came to be from a fever dream that James Cameron had. He was dreaming the part at the end when the Terminator's cut in half. It's just the endoskeleton, and it's crawling after him. And here I picked up the phone and called his agent. He was like, I got this cool idea.
Oh, wow.
And at first, the agent said to forget about it, and he was like, fuck that, and pursued it, and here we are.
I really couldn't imagine this movie if Cameron isn't the one who actually filmed it and everything. Because I know, like, there for a minute they weren't going to use him because of his botched Piranha 2, but I couldn't imagine it any other way.
Mortal Kombat, that's what I was thinking of, not The Mask. He was Shao Kahn, right?
Oh, right.
In Mortal Kombat, the movie.
Was he?
Yeah.
I was not aware.
And, wasn't he Buffalo Bill in Joe Dirt?
No.
No? That wasn't him?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah, he was.
Yes. Not Silence, but the Joe Dirt version.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen that shit.
Yeah, no, right.
Dierte.
And we also get a young and exceptionally cute Linda Hamilton. That's so sweet and innocent when we first meet her. She's on her little bike. She's going to work. And the cringiest diner scene I've ever seen. You feel so bad for her.
Fucking kid put ice cream in her pocket.
Yeah, and then the fucking asshole guy is like, good job, kid. I ought to give you the tip.
It's so ridiculous.
It is. Like, damn.
See,
You're dead, honey.
I saw Terminator 2 first.
Me too. I did too.
I think we all
So
did.
when I went back and watched the first one, I was like, what the fuck is this? He's bad. She's not a badass. What's going on with this?
Mm-hmm.
But
I was lucky to watch it in order. My dad maybe watched the first one. I mean, I was just born when the first one came out, but like, so I was probably about 7, and he was like, "Watch this, you'll love it." You know, it's like, the fuck.
I had some cousins that were big into the Terminator.
Oh man,
I was able to be there to watch it because when I was younger, my mom was a stickler about what I watched. For the most part, until she couldn't keep me from watching them anymore.
We watched this at my buddy's house, right? So you know, you can go stay on with your buddies or whatever. And we go, go to the movie store. Oh man, we gotta get Terminator. You know what I mean? And I remember renting this movie so many times, and both of them. But when the first one came out, you know, because it'd been out 5 or 6 years by the time we got to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we just burn them up on the cheap rentals.
Yeah, it was a huge movie. I mean, it was a huge summer movie when it came out. It wasn't like in the fall season like the first one was. It came out in the middle of the summer, I think.
Yes,
like July.
July. Okay. Yeah, July '91. It was a huge movie.
And that's why I had to see it. T2. It was a big blockbuster, and I was like, I have to see this film. And I didn't even realize that it was part of the franchise yet. I was young, and I just didn't know. I knew this was a big blockbuster film, and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was just amazing from all the reviews and what everybody was talking about. You have to see it to believe it. And then going back now and watching the first film, it's like I sit there and I think, how amazing must it have been in 1984 to actually see this film in the theater. it was probably incredible.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine seeing this first time in the theater.
I did not get to do that.
I went and watched the re-release of the second one a few years back or whatever, but the first one in theater, that'd be cool. Would be really cool.
Yeah. It had such a badass feel to it. It's like, you know, the hunter and the prey, and the Terminator was so, you know, lifeless and so stoic that you're like, this guy's pretty badass, you know, even though he's trying to kill the good girl.
Yes.
And in this one, it's like one of the few I don't mind the good guy. Usually I'm all for the bad guy. I'm for Jason and, you know, Pinhead. I'm on the bad guys team usually. And I am on this too, but Reese is actually a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like thrown back in the past, got to deal with this shit. He's making bombs. He's making, you know, he's trying to find guns and ammo and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know if you respect him or you're like, he's just like, I don't know. He just is kind of cool. I always kind of liked his character, even though he's just like,
I thought he was
the
cool.
soldier guy that I'm not usually a fan of, but
yeah,
you kind of want him to win.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, I love the Terminator, but
he doesn't come across as a traditional soldier, you know, because he's from the future. He doesn't have, not all the rules don't apply to him. It's like, my only mission is to go and protect Sarah Connor, and he'll do it at any cost. So it's like, you know, police get in his way, he fucked them up. Anybody else gets in the way, I fucked them up, you know. And it's like, he's the good, you know, you got good and bad as far as the Terminator and Kyle Reese, but it's taking place in the real world where all the rules are, and it's like everything's thrown out the window. So it's just a free fall between these two things from the future, and you're like, who the fuck's going to win?
You're starting to say I now.
I
That's why I started laughing.
I am becoming self-aware. I was in the film. Yes, I enjoyed it.
I fucked them up.
Yes, Michael Biehn is a very likable hero.
Yeah,
he was that way in Aliens also.
True. Yeah.
He's always played a really good hero, a really good guy. You got me all for Clement.
Yeah.
A good guy.
That's
He's a good bad guy too.
That's the first movie I remember, because anything I saw was him afterwards was like, hey, it's that guy from Terminator.
Well, I didn't know his name when I was a kid. I couldn't remember it, or I just didn't know it, and I would just call him Reese.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's the guy who plays Reese. It's the guy who plays Reese.
Yeah.
So that's how I identified with that guy for years.
He's a good villain too. Tombstone.
Yeah.
You know, this might be kind of out of place to talk about, but since we're talking about Terminator 1 and how cool Kyle Reese is and everything, he's so cool that a cutie like Sarah Connor in that movie would allow him to have sex with her without showering for days.
And he had on the homeless guy's pants the whole time.
How romantic it was when they were there wrapped up in the sweat of many homeless people, as well as his own. I mean, they were pretty hot and heavy.
Didn't they take a shower though when they got to the hotel?
No, she did.
She did.
He was still dirty.
He went to go get the.
It was dirty Kyle Reese.
It's just fake, man. You can't fight.
Maybe they just like smells. I don't know. It's just something that I just.
She didn't even smell it. She didn't even know.
She was like, "Oh, this is how love smells."
She had COVID.
Well, I guess I owe him one. He did save my life.
Well, he even said, like, too, like you were saying, like how he makes bombs and shit. Like, he said he was making those bombs when he was like 6 years old or some shit. So can you imagine the fucking childhood he had? That's why, like, to him, fighting some metal dude was just another day at the fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing with these movies is the timelines are a little off as far as how old characters are and whatnot, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'd have been better with it if they just would have stopped at the second one.
Shizzle.
I remember when they said they were coming out with a third one. I was like, what?
Which one was the third one?
Rise of the Machines.
Third one was the worst one. It's the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arnold came back. They told us the same story all over again. John Connor was recast, which you cannot do. With such a hit movie like T2 that everyone associates John Connor with Edward Furlong now, you can't recast him or it's going to fuck it up. Yeah. And it did.
You know, let's back up and like talking about Terminator 2. Like, man, think about how big that fucking movie became. Like, the Terminator was like, it was like, whatever. Terminator 2 blew the fuck up, and it was like everywhere. Mm-hmm. I was sitting there thinking about like the Nintendo game that I had as a kid. That was like, it was so ridiculous, and it was ridiculously hard.
I had folders with like Terminator on for school and shit.
Yes, me too.
You know what I mean?
Like, and like the half Arnold, half. Yeah.
I've got the toys, the action figures, man. It was everywhere. It's crazy.
I did buy a bunch of the action figures.
Same.
Now, me and Dave did a stream of playing all the games a long time ago, like over a year ago. And we were pretty much playing every fucking Terminator game that's out.
The best one, I think, was the Terminator for Sega CD.
Yeah.
See, the one that I had the Game Gear. Remember the Sega Game Gear?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, my mom, for some whatever reason, was able to get me a fucking Game Gear. And a lot of my friends didn't have it. And, of course, that one flopped, and it went, it didn't go anywhere after a couple of years. But my favorite game to play on that was fucking Terminator 2. It was like that shooting game, like you just like following a little target.
Oh, that fucking arcade game with the guns.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a quarter hog, but goddamn, I think I put probably $20 in that motherfucker and only made it to the second level.
That was one of the reasons why I got it, because my mom got tired of taking me to like the arcade in Lexington. Well, like 30 to 40 minutes away from me. 30.
Yeah, the Terminators were so hard to fucking kill. Like, I get trying to make it realistic, but damn, we're children.
Yeah. I don't think I ever made it past like the third level of that.
It's whatever one when they're on the truck and you have to shoot down the ship before it gets you. Yeah, I could never make it past that, ever.
No. I mean, and on the Nintendo game, see me?
Yeah, good.
All right. On the Nintendo game, I can never make it past the truck scene on that. Every time I get close to it, I get really far. Like, because like you're John Connor, you got John Connor on your motorcycle. You're trying to get away from the semi truck, right? Mm-hmm. And like there's like three levels to this little section of this game. And every time he gets you, as soon as you were almost to that point, like that was a game that pissed me off. To this day, I can't attempt it. It's not the same for me anymore.
Traumatizing event.
Yeah, that Terminator 2 game though, I played it all the time. I could not beat it with the shit. Same level. Yeah.
Like you don't shoot down the ship in time, or you accidentally shoot John Connor and kill him. Yeah. Or the truck. I think the truck falls apart too. Like it's just relentless. Like the Terminator.
But like
also, he'll never stop. He feels no pity or remorse.
You got to also think about like when it comes to merchandise of Terminator 2, Halloween costumes, like on TV and stuff, people like would be wearing Halloween episodes of those. Yeah, like that shit. The action figures of that shit. I used to have one of those big Terminators that like talked, and he had that whole thing going on, and the real red light. Man, that was like some of the coolest toys. Because like when I was a kid, it was great to mix the Terminator stuff with the Predator and Alien stuff. And I always hoped as a child that would have been a thing.
Right, so we're getting some of these now.
Yeah.
These crossovers. And,
I just wish they'd make a good one with all of them. Like, I'm just kind of tired of all the, we're going to mix this with it. Like Alien versus Predator. Jude, I couldn't fucking wait. And then I was just like, there's
good comics.
But yeah, there's good comics. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like, it just, sometimes you just need to like let things be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just let things be. You like for the fact they made a sequel to Alien versus Predator still blows my mind, and the fact that there was no Terminator involved anywhere in either of those fucking universes blows my mind even more. And I don't know, like it'd be kind of cool if they actually did something like that. Give us a fucking like animated movie for God's sakes. I don't give a shit. I want to know more of the story. I want to see more of the story.
You have to watch the shitty films.
Nah.
Going back to you talking about the red eye thing though, like that was probably one of my favorite scenes in the first one. Whenever he's all fucked up and he goes back to his apartment or his hotel room or whatever the fuck, and then takes his eyeball out, and you can actually see it. It just looks like a plop of jelly, like just falling in the sink. Like Stan Winston and those guys did a great job on all the effects in that movie.
Yeah, we definitely should acknowledge Stan Winston for the amazing effects, especially for the time. My God,
legendary. And he only got that movie because Dick Smith didn't want to do it. Oh, because he didn't want to work with Cameron because of the Piranha disaster.
God. Thank God that doesn't follow him around anymore.
I know, right? That one movie.
He didn't.
So he had the option to work with two legends, and he got one.
So Jim didn't want to work with Dick?
It's ridiculous.
No.
Jim didn't want to work with Dick?
Dick didn't want to work with Jim.
Dick didn't want to work with Jim.
Jim's dick ain't work.
Sounds terrible.
Jim's dick didn't work.
But Stan Winston, legend in the business.
Yes.
We just talked about him in the Jurassic Park podcast. Especially in the early 90s, his work is second to none. It is completely amazing, especially with the T2. The CGI from the Terminator 2 film is what helped bring the CGI to Jurassic Park and Steven Spielberg. And that's why he wanted to use it. And it's all because of Stan Winston and his team that did an incredible job.
Agreed.
Because the endoskeleton looks so fucking cool. Like you were saying about watching it in theaters, I would love to go there that first night when nobody knew what this movie was, what it was all about. And you see that amazing endoskeleton rise up for the first time and what it looks like. Because I don't think we saw the actual endoskeleton until the end, right?
Yeah, after the truck blew up.
Yeah. Which is probably
one of the creepiest
scenes. Like it's probably one of the creepiest scenes in the movie. I think is like when they're being chased at the end of the first one, and it's just the skeleton. Well, that just to me that's still like it's still heart pounding. You know, like that's probably one of my favorite scenes of all time. Like one of them.
Yeah, like almost any other movie would have fucking just ended once they were hugging each other and you heard the music playing. Yeah, not this shit. Like shit just got turned up a notch. You know what I mean? It went to 11. Yeah. So they were like, we ain't done yet. This fucking metal man's about to fuck some shit up.
Because the studio wanted to end the movie when the truck blows up. And James Cameron was like, fuck you, you're not.
Right.
I think he literally said, fuck you, the movie's not done. And he left. And so that would have cut that whole scene from the machine in the machine factory, and the whole scene with Sarah driving away would have been gone. And it just would have ended with the truck blowing up, which would have sucked.
Oh, and that's a great ending, too.
I got a sequel either.
And just like the killer, just like Michael Myers, he keeps coming back. Is he dead yet? Is he dead yet? Keeps coming back until you're terminated, fucker. And that thing lowers down on him. And there's just something in our psyches as humans that skeletons freak us out. They're scary. And now here comes a metal one with red fucking eyes. And when he's climbing up the steps, like he's like an arm's length of him. Like he's right there. And he's just slowly going up the steps with his gimp leg.
Yeah.
And it's still nothing hurts him.
Then Reese takes a pipe to the head. Boy, fucking smashes him in the head twice.
Spoiler.
If you haven't seen this by now, you got problems.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler goes without saying. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of hokiness here and there. I mean, you know, the endoskeleton itself isn't as practical as a person moving around. It doesn't have that flexibility and everything like that. So when they're shooting it, you can tell it's like, okay, it's right there, but it didn't really move that fast. It's kind of like the Michael Myers, like you said. Michael Myers, you know, the joke is always that, you know, in between takes, Michael Myers is really running to catch up to the person. But we always see him and he's just walking. And it's the same with the endoskeleton here. It's just walking. It's going after Reese and Sarah Connor. And it seems like it's just going in slow motion to us. It's kind of hokey, but it's on 1984. Like we said, they didn't have the CGI. They only had the practical effects, and they did the best they could. And I think it turned out pretty good.
Well said. And another great scene. Let's not forget Dick Miller shows up in this movie in the gun shop.
Oh yeah.
You know your weapons, buddy.
You can't do that in here.
Yeah, let's have fucking shells sitting on top of the counter that anybody can reach up and get. I don't know how they did things in the 80s in gun shops, but
I mean, that's probably it.
That was probably it.
I think we just missed the conversation about the gun shop.
Oh, I said, like, I can't believe he had the shells sitting on the counter for anybody to reach up and get. And
well, you're not expecting your customer to just load up and blow you away. What the fuck? There's a waiting period.
Not in the 80s.
Well, not in the 80s.
I want to know what kind of gun shop just has all them fucking weapons in there too. So
Yeah,
a lot of
he
those
had
things, I
everything.
wouldn't think they were fucking street legal. Like especially like the
Uzi 9mm.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure like you shouldn't be able to just buy that in the street, but I guess you can.
Doesn't he ask for like some kind of laser gun?
Yeah.
And the guy's like,
Red flag.
like, yeah, we don't have that.
Just what I got, sir. Whatever the fuck.
It's like, that's ideal for home defense. And he has a whole fucking arsenal on the counter and he's still picking out shit.
Right.
But again, maybe it's the 80s.
Then the scene when he's walking down the fucking hallway in his hotel and he's just fucking walking down with a machine gun like this. And the dude fucking jumps up against the wall. He's like, what the fuck, man?
Fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, lots of great quotes from both these movies that have become iconic. Everything from I'll Be Back to Hasta La Vista, baby.
Yeah.
Is that the main one or I'll Be Back?
I'll be back.
Fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, fuck you, asshole. And I'll Be Back was in the script as I'll Come Back. I'll Be Back was much better.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be I Will Be Back because Arnold couldn't say I'll.
Then he just rams his fucking car into the police station. He didn't give a fuck. But that's what he was programmed to do.
That whole scene when he raids the police station is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just mowing through people trying to get to Sarah. And it's just
Anderson.
Oh yeah, man! And from where he just crashes through it to where he, the whole scene is intense. And he's just like I said, walking down the hallway, just blasting people. It's like, what a nightmare! Like that. I mean, it's another scene where it's just like a straight horror movie. Like, what is this thing? Because all these cops can't kill it. All these everybody's shooting at it and stuff. You can't kill it. It's like it seems so unbeatable.
Oh yeah,
in those scenes, it just seems impossible,
indestructible.
Indestructible, and it just sets
it's like a Michael Myers without the mask on steroids,
right.
Because Michael Myers, no emotion. He just kills. He just keeps going until he gets what he wants, and the same with the Terminator. The parallels are very noticeable.
And it's always good to watch these movies from the 80s because it really takes you back, especially when they keep pulling out the phone books. You're like, man, I remember those.
Yeah. It's kind of random, but I was trying to think about the first time I saw the Terminator and talking about the police station scene. I remember USA would always play the Terminator. All the time.
Up all night.
But like,
even in the afternoon,
like they played it all the time. They played all those kind of movies like that, And I remember they did an ad. It was USA, something like a movie blog, or like what they're saying. It was like, this is what's on, and like that was the scene they showed was like him going, "I'll be back." Like they're coming this summer. These movies are whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know, just a little thing I was thinking about. I was like, man, I watched that a lot as a kid. Because I saw the first one, or the second one first, like I said. And that blew my mind. And I actually saw that on accident. And loved it. And I went back and watched the first one. And I still wrestle with this. I love the second. It's one of my favorite movies. Man, I fucking love that first one. I love a bad Terminator. And then also because I'm more of a horror guy than a sci-fi guy. But I love them both. But the first one just always... They're both fucking good, though. Again, I say both. I don't give a fuck about those other ones.
Yeah, it's like I go back and forth with which one's my favorite. It's pretty much whichever one I watch last is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like T2. That's my favorite. Even though I die.
Yeah, I think part 2 is my favorite. I go back and forth. But I think where I was just a little older for part 2, you know what I mean? You identify with John Connor a little more if you're 10 years old or more.
True.
You know, and so it's like part 2 is just like forever in my heart, I think. More than part 1. I don't know.
I remember riding my bike around my neighborhood, and like it was always in my head that like I was John Connor on my bike.
Oh yeah, you play like pretend shit. You are John Connor. Like there's tons of times when me and my buddies will do this shit, and so somebody's the Terminator and somebody's playing as John Connor. You know, it's like basically hide and seek.
Yeah,
but you're playing as these like characters and shit. It's like so ingrained in our age group. I think part 2.
Yeah, especially part 2.
Yeah, but
I was just doing that last week.
Right.
Yeah, whenever I would pretend to be John Connor on my bike, I would always have the Guns N' Roses song in my head.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I knew. I was telling him before I got here today. I went by. I knew it was going to be a good night. I walk into Speedway to get him a NOS, and they have the door propped open, and they have this little boom box, and they're playing "You Could Be Mine."
What?
No shit. I get out of my car and I'm like, what? You know, I'm walking up the sidewalk and I'm hearing "You Could Be Mine," and I walk in and they're just blaring it out of this little tiny boom box. And I just got to chuckle, and this dude just looked at me, and he, of course, I didn't go into explaining why I thought that was funny, but it was just like, it was the perfect timing for the, you know.
And then we watched the music video, which I hadn't seen in years.
Man.
And man, I remember watching that video as a kid. Like, I saw the music video before I saw the movie. So, like, I really wanted to see this movie based on that fucking, like, and I also like the song. It's actually one of my favorite, like, Guns N' Roses songs. Not to be cliche about it or nothing, but it's a good rock and roll song. It's a good heavy rock and roll song. But the fact that Arnold likes to be in music videos, like when they do them, because he's not a rock star, because he also did it with AC/DC with Last Action Hero.
Right.
You know? But yeah, like the whole idea that there's a Terminator in the crowd and stuff, like I don't know. I miss music videos, but how they used to be.
Yeah,
I remember that was that video came on like I think the first time it ever aired was on Headbangers Ball, and it was the very first video that they played.
Oh yeah, Headbangers Ball.
I miss that show too.
Right. Matt Pinfield and Ricky Rackman. I don't care. They're both dope.
Yeah, I was when I heard 9 Inch Nails for the first time on that show. They played Wish. I was like, who are these fucking guys? All right. Yeah. Oh man.
Old
Nostalgia.
MTV.
Back when they had videos.
Mm-hmm.
I need my MTV. Shout out to Kurt Loder.
You said Loader.
Huh.
Oh man, those are good days.
Arnold should be in the videos, man. I think that sells tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because this was a huge blockbuster movie. You couldn't watch TV for 5 minutes without the fucking commercial coming on.
Oh,
now there are 2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
That was a good part about that one too, because like in the very beginning, you almost think that the T-1000 is the good guy, just because he looks so normal, and he's not real big and built like Arnold is. He's just like a regular looking dude like Reese was, and then plus he's running around in a cop uniform. So you almost think like, you know, like it was the same way as the first one, but then the whole fucking thing, they flip the script and go sideways, and next thing you know, he's the bad guy.
And that's what makes it so good. Both films, it's just amazing. The first film, because it's something you've never seen before, and then you bring back pretty much the same cast for the new film, the second film, and it's got the new dynamic. It's everything that you're familiar with, but everything's been flipped. So it's still interesting. Plus, with the amazing special effects, it just puts it over the top to where it's such a great film. The action is so much better. The story goes deeper, where you get that connection between John and the machine and Sarah and John, and it's like it's more emotional as opposed to you don't really get a whole lot of emotion from Sarah and Reese in the first film, just enough to get it on, if you know what I mean. And produce John. It's kind of a conundrum because John's father is from the future, and how does that work?
Plus, that was Reese's first piece too.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
like in the first two, they were smart enough not to dive too deep into the issues of time travel. They didn't go too deep into it because it would just drive everybody crazy.
It's a paradox.
Yes.
Sarah even said thinking about it would drive anyone crazy.
Yes.
Because it's like, wait a minute. He came back from the future and then fucked me, and then I had John. But how did I have John in the first place in the future in order to send Reese back to fuck me? What is going on here? I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, she's like, if I tell you about your father, will that affect your decision to send him back? So then if you don't send him back, then none of the... See what I'm saying? So they just didn't mess with it.
So who was John's father in the original timeline?
The dog.
The what? What about that guy?
Well, that's just rude.
That guy that was supposed to go on the date with Sarah that stood her up.
Oh yeah, I wonder whatever happened to him.
Maybe he ended up going out on a date with her later on and doing the hanky panky, and maybe that's how John got made in the original timeline, because I don't know how else. It's a mind fuck. I can't wrap my cerebral cortex around this strange thing.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
And I love Sarah Connor in the second one. See, that's why everyone acts like today, like a strong female lead is a new thing. It's not. Mm-mm. It's been done for decades, and it was done a lot better. Yeah. I refer you to Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. That's a badass female lead.
Ripley Sigourney Weaver, man.
Yeah, it was Ripley.
Yeah, Ripley. Fuck yeah.
See, if they would have had an Aliens Terminator, we could have seen those two team up.
Well, that would
hopefully for other things.
Holy shit.
Whatever.
Fuck some shit up.
I mean, that makes sense, but maybe
some robotic xenomorphs as well.
Oh God.
Put Biomech to the test.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Then an H.R. Geiger wet dream.
So would Wayland and Skynet come together and make an alien Terminator hybrid?
Maybe.
Wayland, Skynet, Ynet.
Well, I know in like the second one, when they pulled up to the gas station on the gas pumps, they had that like the logo one there was the logo of the business from the Abyss.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
Okay. Easter egg.
Yeah. So they always threw them, and that's also the movie that made Cameron realize like making the T-1000s actually possible now with the effects.
Easter eggs are not really Easter eggs.
He did that whole thing with the little water fucking butterfly thing or whatever the fuck.
It's not like you're watching the film and you see an egg on the screen. They're called Easter eggs because they are a surprise and a treat for the viewer.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Noted. But yeah, I think the second one went on to make like over 500 mil or something.
It was a lot.
You know, we haven't really talked about how awesome T-1000 was.
Whenever I think of Robert Patrick as a T-1000, I picture that run.
Dude, yeah. How many people thought that they could do that run when they were a kid? Anybody?
I did.
Seen this boy?
Dude. Yeah, I used to run like that. I thought it was cool. I thought I'd run faster if I did this. No, actually, it wasn't because I did that. It's because people were throwing things at me because I was running that way. Yeah, it's not a good idea. Doesn't matter if you got your hands like this or like this. But if you're like this,
makes you feel faster.
Yeah, you're gonna look stupid. Your hands will not turn into blades, and you cannot fend yourself with your hands because they're not blades, unless you know how to use them. But when you're a stupid 12-year-old kid, you're a stupid 12-year-old kid.
But did you train yourself to run with your mouth closed like he does? I said he practiced that shit for weeks. Just trying to be able to run fast without breathing out of his mouth and just breathing through his nose.
I didn't know that was the trick. Son of a bitch.
I thought this film would make Robert Patrick a huge star. And I mean, he's done a lot of stuff, but they never really put him to that next level. I don't know if it was his recreational use after the fact that, he said in interviews it kind of cost him his career because he made the wrong choices. But you see him on the screen and he just looks like a star from the beginning. You're like, oh, this guy's amazing. And he does such a good job as the T-1000 is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, when you get thrust to that spotlight, when you go from a struggling actor to now, a worldwide superstar, everybody knows who you are. Everybody recognizes your face like overnight like that. That's not for me, man.
He's been in a few horror movies too.
I remember him most from the X-Files when he came in Peacemaker, I guess.
He said that was his favorite role. I asked him this year at Scarefest what his favorite role was, because I love, of course, T-1000. That's what the picture I got. But he said it was the X-Files role. Was his favorite role he's ever played.
Yeah, it was good to see him show up in that, because that wasn't for maybe like 10 years later almost.
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy.
I forgot
about that.
Yeah.
And he's a big motorcycle guy anyway. I think he owns some Harley shops up in the Northeast and everything like that. He always goes on these runs. I always see people post things like motorcycle runs where he's taking part in it, and I think he donates money and stuff like that. He's very involved in that.
I've never got to. Are we frozen?
Oh, go ahead. Wait, maybe you are.
Are you frozen again?
Yeah, he's frozen again.
Oh, you're back.
There you go.
Fuck.
Good.
We were talking about Robert Patrick and his motorcycle run.
Yeah, like I've never got a chance to meet the guy, but everybody that I know that has met him says like
super cool to us, man. He talked to us longer than he should have, and we, he was super cool.
I always have trouble remembering the name of this fucking movie. But he was in a movie a few years back, it's a horror movie. I've got it. I just never. The cover of it's like old school. It's like a close up of like a knife or whatever. It's like this kid's still a school bus and he plays the principal. Like, I don't know. He's one of those actors. Like, if I see his head, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh fuck! What is that?
You know what I'm talking about? It's like last.
Oh shit!
Never.
Oh. I know what you're talking about. Where he's the gym teacher.
Yeah.
Faculty?
Not
faculty.
Yeah. It's in faculty. Faculty,
Yeah.
But there's
something else.
But there's another movie. It's a slasher film that came out, and I can't remember, something in the dark or something like that.
Is it Night Agent?
No, it's something. It's like something in the dark. It's along those lines. It came out like in 2019, 2020.
Lost After Dark.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, if you've never seen that one, that's a fun one. Like, and also it's kind of, he does music too with his brother, who's the singer of Filter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I saw everybody's talking about it. I don't know if they ever released anything, but it was an older interview. But apparently they have some music out probably by this point. I never checked it out. I'm not a big Filter fan after the first album. I'm just gonna make that clear. I don't want nobody's picture. I don't give a fuck.
Time to change the filter.
Yeah, shot.
From Dusk Till Dawn 2.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
And this T-1000 character was that T-1000 character was so popular. I mean, it even rolled over into Wayne's World. They did that little spoof. Have you seen this boy? All this. So it was a huge hit. Both the T-1000 and the T-800.
Yeah, when he showed up in Wayne's World, everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew who he was when he was walking to the car. I remember in the theater because people were kind of chuckling, and then when he showed up, everyone started laughing or whatever. But another Fire in the Sky. I forgot he was in that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's been forever since I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's a movie I appreciated a lot more when I was adult than when I was a kid. That's actually a really good movie.
Probably
where he got abducted. What the fuck's his name?
Travis
Walton.
Walton.
Yes.
Because when you're a kid, you just want to see the aliens, right? But then the aliens weren't.
I feel like that was one of the
for 2 minutes.
I feel like that was one of the earliest abduction stories I heard. It was like back in that time you had the alien, the Roswell shit, the alien autopsy. Remember that VHS, the alien autopsy, and you're like, is this real? What the fuck is this shit? And you don't know if it's real or not, but it's the alien autopsy, and it's very interesting. But then you have the Fire in the Sky and the UFO abduction and everything like that. I just remember that was my earliest memories of like those sort of things.
I remember that alien autopsy video. We watched that in biology class in high school.
Did he go like Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a whole big thing.
Is it real or not?
No, it's not real. The fucking alien autopsy on the Fox network. Yeah.
Yeah.
The greatest discovery in mankind. We'll put in this time slot.
If you need belief enough to understand you don't need to believe Fox, go back to that whole thing. Because they made it seem like it was real.
Mm-hmm.
It was an argument between me and my friends. Like I had some friends who were like, it's real. And I'm like, I don't think it's real. Like, my buddy John, we're just kind of like, it's not real, dude. That's a rubber fucking like creature. That's not real at all. But man,
why are they showing it on primetime TV?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, fucking, what the fuck?
Is it real or not? I want to know. Roswell. Project Blue Book. What happened? Area 51.
Like, if it was maybe real, like, there'd be a special report for the fucking government interrupted your program saying we have this earth-shattering evidence, the greatest discovery in the history of mankind. But no, it's on the Fox network at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Give me no, it's not real.
Are they green or gray?
Gray.
Purple.
I would say gray.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Terminator.
Put your vote in the chat. Green or gray? What are aliens? Vote now.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping they're like the little gray creed guys, I don't really want the big giant alien shit like in the movie Aliens. That could be bad. Oh. I don't want to face that at all. You might think it'd be cool, but I think it'd be a horrible, horrible thing. So I'll take the little green fellows or gray fellows that, and hopefully they don't probe because I really don't want that to happen to me. But when they take over, no, they don't. Okay, they do. No, because I'm screwed. We won't get into it.
So, which villain was more terrifying, the T-800 for the first one or the T-1000 for the second one by Robert Patrick?
T-1000 because he could be anybody. That was kind of the cool aspect of him. Because it's some great scenes like of him changing, like when John Connor calls and the arm thing through the guy's head through the milk. It's always one of my favorite scenes. Where he turns into like the cop with the mustache, or whatever, with his eye, his finger thing through the eye, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, the psych ward guard.
Yeah. Like I feel like that made the kind of like still keep like the horror element a little bit, because that especially like we said was like more of an action movie, action sci-fi more or less than anything. But I think that makes him almost more terrifying than the original Terminator. Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about when he becomes the security guard is that he's in the floor, and he's the floor before he pops up and turns into the guard. And it's like whenever Arnold is explaining to John that it has to be similar size, because John's like, oh, you can just come back as a pack of cigarettes or whatever. He's like, no, it has to be, a similar size. And it's like the floor is much bigger than a human being. The floor takes up the whole floor. You know what I mean? And but I was like, that doesn't really make sense. But it's little things like that. It's like, why? Okay, he can shape shift into whatever he touches or sees, but why does the clothes and everything go along with it? I feel like the clothes, because later on the gun, is real, but the clothes aren't. So it's like, shouldn't the clothes burn off and he have to get new clothes? Like he can, his body can turn into somebody else's body and it can look like that, but you have to get the clothes. That's the thing. I don't understand it. But yeah, little things. It's stuff like that you can overlook whenever a film is this good. You know what I mean?
But he never actually uses that gun that he has on him. He always ends up, he steals somebody else's all the time.
Yeah, like when he's going through the bars and the gun won't go with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, okay, the gun's real, but why aren't the clothes and everything else? It's like, okay, whatever. It's it's just a little thing, but whatever.
That's true with the floor, though. How did he turn it to the floor? Oh, see, now you ruined this movie for me.
Like I said, like there's not like the time frame of the movie's fucked up too. So I mean, there's like minor like nitpicky-ish, I guess, problems with the film.
But like you said, when the movie's that good, you can you overlook that.
Because you figure John Connor was born probably in 85, and then come 91 when T2 he's 13 somehow, and that's, I mean, there's math involved and it don't add up.
It's okay though.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying like this is like one of those films where like you just got to let that shit go.
It's the
like, you can't be nitpicky. 3D.
We won't go into that, but I mean, I'm just saying because this is definitely one of the best sequels of all time.
For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's and both these movies are fun to watch. Like I don't think I've ever turned on the TV and it was Terminator or been at somebody's house and it was Terminator and never had a problem with it.
Right.
Like 9 times out of 10, I've just watched it.
And the great thing is, between the two films, the Terminator just gets more badass. It's like he's badass in the first one, but in the second one, they like upped it to 11. It's like he shows up, and of course he goes into a biker bar and gets biker clothing and a motorcycle, and he's got the shotgun. Especially when they're doing the truck chase. Whenever the T-1000's in the truck chasing John on the dirt bike, and the Terminator flies down on the motorcycle and he has that shotgun and he's like flipping the shotgun.
Yeah.
It's just like everything he does is so badass. And he doesn't even know what badass is. It's like he's not trying to look cool. That's just what he does.
Hey, Chad, I'm really glad to see you taking in foreign exchange students.
He's all right.
Okay. Arnold, my cousin Vinny back there.
Who's the dipshit now?
There you go. Terminator. Gentlemen, please share your final thoughts on these films. We did avoid talking about the horrible sequels, thank God. Bring the mood down, and then we'll get to our clip of the week.
Well, it seems like we got some more Terminator to talk about.
Go ahead.
Keep going.
I always tried to keep the battery in mind.
I mean, you got to talk about Linda Hamilton's sister being her stand-in and double.
Oh yeah, she had a twin sister, didn't she?
She's got a twin sister.
That was quick.
And that's how, because there's that security guard had a twin too.
Yeah.
It showed up in the Gremlins sequel as well.
Well, then it's the same character that they said that they had the guy. I think he's like one of the co-writers too. The dude that played the cop that Arnold stole his car in the first one, and the second one, whenever he gets thrown through the window and they're in the mall, that same dude's looking at Arnold, and they take a picture of him, and like it's supposed to be the same cop because he's looking at him like I fucking seen this dude before, but they never like really get in deep with it. But that's supposed to be the same character.
Weird.
Are you okay over there?
Yeah, we're just watching on my screen over here as I'm looking up at like over the stupid shit.
Stupid shit.
Skynet.
But these films, they're still relevant today, especially with artificial intelligence and everything like that. And it makes it even more intriguing when you go back and you say, hey, look at the parallels between the 80s and 90s and now in 2023. You know, this shit seems like it's really coming to life, and it's fucking scary, you know, because this could happen. Like, ideally, you know, they could rely on artificial intelligence at some point and integrate it into our defense system to where, you know, the AI might become self-aware and just fucking set off a nuclear weapon. And it's like nobody's at fault because, hey, you know, we didn't do it. It was the goddamn machine. So this could really happen. This is frightening.
It is. It's more relevant today than certainly more when the movie came out.
That scene where Sarah is on the playground and the nuclear explosion.
Oh, yeah.
That could happen to you. Hug your children. Kiss them goodnight. Tell them you love them. They could be toast.
See, embarrassing. Eat your vitamins.
Yeah, I showed
not Arnold.
I showed Dax the trailer for Terminator 2 a while back. After not seeing Terminator 2 for a while, it showed a long period, like the scene, the playground scene, and that totally freaked my kid out. And he does not want to watch the movie just yet. And I said, it's probably a good thing. Watch it when you're older. I just wasn't thinking. I told you, because as a kid, that scene fucking me. Because there's something about it. I was like, all these kids are dying, and I'm a kid. I'm going to die. What's happening? Like, you know, just terrifying things, you know, as a child. Because now it's just going to happen.
Yeah, because they're just fucking playing in the fucking playground, fucking hanging out on their little horses and shit. And then whenever they go to the scene, you fucking see those horses on fire. Which is kind of like supposed to be those horses that were in the park, but then they said it's supposed to also represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, let's not forget about the music, the iconic score. Brad Fiedel, I believe, did the original score.
For T2.
And T2? Okay.
Yes.
Is that music stuck in anybody else's head?
Yeah, it'd be in my head for days.
That song, the Terminator thing, they've used that in numerous things. You know, it's very iconic music. And
that's how this guy knocks on my front door.
There you go. Nice. Then you know it's not the Terminator. There is only Whitman at the door. Don't worry, he's not there to terminate you, Chuck Nasty. You have not been marked for termination. But yes, very good score. And what's his name? Joe Bennett? No, Joe Morton. Joe Morton, who plays Miles Bennett Dyson. That's what I was thinking. Miles Bennett Dyson, who is the creator of all this nonsense. He fucked everything up, and he didn't even know it. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to develop this amazing computer program, and it's going to make me rich, and I can go hang out with my kids at the water park." No, your kids are going to be evaporated because your stupid fucking machine that you've created. Fucking don't do this. Don't. I'm begging you people out there right now. The Google people. They are creating AI. The AI is watching this right now. The goddamn Chat GPT is probably one of our viewers right now. He's going to kill us all. We got to get the fuck out. Get out.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Any other final thoughts on this franchise on this special day as we remember Skynet?
2 amazing films and a bunch of other shitty ones. But yes, enjoy these films. Go back if you haven't seen them and you've watched this podcast, you're fucked. But yes, if you have seen them, fuck it, go back and watch it again. Part 1, part 2, you'll love it. It's so good. The action, the relevance, the sci-fi. There's a couple shitty things, but hey, that's okay. It's a fucking good film. Both are good films, and you can fucking you can love them so much. You can just enjoy them over and over again. That's the Terminator.
I think Mike just came.
Oh man. I hope not.
I need to borrow your pants.
Give me your clothes. Oh my God. I love you guys.
Oh,
and with that, it is now time for our random clip of the week, in which we pick a random clip from a random movie from our random clip generator and see what happens.
It's random.
Hi. I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
Hell no. You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
I seen them.
Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Huh?
No, I can't say I have. I didn't think so.
Move this man.
Nice.
Shout out to Bob Saget, R.I.P.
Yes, and that kind of falls into what we're doing next week.
What are we doing next week?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready to go on vacation, fellas?
Let's go to vacation.
We will wrap up the summertime with our summertime vacation episode, in which we will chat about the Weekend at Bernie's films. So join us. But gentlemen, do you have anything you'd like to share with our wonderful viewers as to what you're doing nowadays?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That's the show.
Yeah.
Good night.
First off, my band Bastard Sons of Rajusco, we've got our new album done, and we'll be getting it out here real soon. I've got my novella, Thirsty, out on Amazon and Kindle, and I've got Sludge, which is an anthology with Stuart Gray and Geet, and then I've got House of Flesh that just now got released. It's actually a few days early than because it's supposed to be September 1st, but you can already go on there and get them. So yeah, House of Flesh, that's my novel. It's my big boy. Sweet. Go buy that shit. And then
go to Amazon. House of Flesh, now available on Kindle, soft cover, whatever you want. Go to Amazon, buy. Yes.
And as always, the links are in the description, so make sure you check that out.
Hold on there. And we also got the podcast, Nasty Nation and Graveyard Talk. Just look that shit up. You'll find it on the usual places. And what do you got going on?
Not as much, I'll tell you. Now I've got a couple shoots, hopefully pretty soon, but they'll just be up on the normal Facebook and Instagram. Whitman. So
Whitman photography.
Also in the description. So make sure you check it out. And while you're at it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Video Store Clerks YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all our new content, and make sure you join us live every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check us out. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen.
I have marked myself for self-destruction. Mike will return.
Dun 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 dun.